Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jake Fennell, and my name is Jake Fennell, and I'm your host of the Golden Hour podcast. Here to talk about the HANA virus is special guest. Actually, we're gonna have to cancel the special guest. We have a bigger problem here. Doom scrolling, as the youth call it, is defined by Webster as to spend excessive time scrolling through online content that makes one feel sad, anxious, or angry. When I graduate high school, I want to major in journalism. I want to write for a paper about movies or write for a company, and doom scrolling has affected this. Journalism is a dying art, and people don't read articles, and people don't really read books either, but that's besides the fact. Sometimes I think about how back in the day, parents would talk to their kids, and they would fuss at them because all they would do is read. Beauty and the Beast is my prime example of that, and how I just think about everybody hated Belle because she always was just reading her books. But now people just say the same things about phones, and really it would be good if kids were reading instead of rotting their brains away scrolling through content. Short form content is rotting people's brains, and to be honest, it's making them stupid. Of course, technology has been such a great thing for our world, and so many benefits we have gained because of it, but it's really a problem that we have to face with now, and places like the National Library of Medicine show that. In a recent article they put out, they were talking about how short-form content like TikTok and Instagram are hurting people more than they're helping them. And there's a quote that stuck out to me. They said, short-form content affects attention control, strengthens boredom proneness in astronomical numbers. And that is just something that I read and I immediately stop wanting to doom scroll and get off TikTok and go outside more, because it's something that affects you your entire life. If we're doom scrolling every day for hours like people do nowadays, are we going to be doing that our entire lives is a real question that I think about. Something that's going to affect me in the future is AI, and it's already affecting everyone right now, but it's already big enough that we can't take it down, so we might as well live with it. Except it's making us stupid. A Google search now gives you the exact answer to the question you typed in something called the AI overview. It pops up at the top of every single Google search you'll ever make for the rest of your life, and it tells you the exact answer to the question you typed. The thing about that is Google's always done that, but Google always has articles and research papers that people have published on there, and those are immediately shut down, because why would you search for the answers if you already have your answers at the very top, and it will give you sources that you don't even have to research for. It takes out all the work and research, and it's making us a lot dumber. But it also affects the people who write these papers and articles, because that's their job, and their job is being taken away by a computer who filtered through their papers, found the exact facts in less than seconds, and post them immediately for the top. And they don't get any credit for that, especially with teens nowadays, because everybody uses AI to cheat and nobody does their own work. And my solution to this is we just need to go outside more. We need to take our phones down, pick up a book, go outside, explore the world, and live how we were made to live, not in this age of comparing yourself to every person you see on the internet, rotting your life away instead of sleeping, and just wasting your time. Think about all the good things that can be done in the time that you're scrolling TikTok, looking at Instagram Reels, watching YouTube Shorts. Even if I'm judging you if you're watching YouTube Shorts, but that's okay, because we all have our problems. But just, you need to find something to do that doesn't involve a screen and learn new things about yourself. To move on to our next segment of the show, let's talk about what we're reading and what we're watching recently. I've been reading Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, and I just got to a point where I think it's time that I need to talk about this book. A big message I took away from this book is everyone dreams big except for the ones who have their dreams locked away from them. Trevor is a South African comedian and writer. He's won Emmy Awards for his television show, The Daily Show, and has hosted the Grammy Awards 6 times. But before he became a famous celebrity, Trevor grew up in South Africa's apartheid all of his adolescence. Britannica, the history website, defines apartheid by legal racial segregation and political and economic discrimination against non-whites. Trevor wrote his book, Born a Crime, detailing the trials and tribulations he faced growing up during apartheid. Chapter 5 of his book was my personal favorite, and it's what stuck out to me while I was reading it. We follow Trevor as he discusses his mother's life and how she's always yearned for something greater in her life, which is a mindset that I also live by, and I just as soon as I read this, I was like, this is the one for me. When Trevor's mother was growing up, she was considered the problem child in her family and later moved to a place with other unwanted kids. There was about 14 kids living with her, but she continued her education until she had to come back home to live with her aunt. Her aunt was sick, and she just needed to care for her and the family. She worked hard at her job as a receptionist, but she had to give all her money to her family because of the black tax. Then she ran away and lived her life how she wanted to because it's her life, nobody else's, and she started her family. When I was reading this chapter, once I got to the end, I was kind of stunned. I sat there and just looked around and thought about it. And that's what I love about movies that also do that. I just sit there and I'll think about them for weeks after I'm done. And this chapter was like that. There was a quote near the beginning of it that really stuck out to me, and that is, "We tell people to follow their dreams, but you can only dream of what you can imagine. And depending on where you come from, your imagination can be quite limited." And that right there, I swear I was sitting in my seat as we were reading it, filling out my book journal, and I was like, that is exactly the quote I know that I'm going to put for mine. And it just made me think about how his mother throughout the book always did what she needed for her family. She always put her family first over herself, and she's such a stubborn woman that she was not letting anyone take away from what she knew she wanted. And that's just a person that I strive to be in life, and I love that for her. The world during her adult years, it was not made for her. It was made actually directly against her. Her imagination couldn't be as free as it was for me when I was growing up, and that's just not fair. People deserve to grow up and do what they want to do, see what they want to see, and live their lives how they want to be, because we were put on this earth for a reason, and that reason is to dream big, and there's no way that you can just let your life be taken away from you, and it's just not fair. And that's just how they lived during all this time, and how so many black families lived during this time. And that is a wrap for the Golden Hour Podcast, episode 3. We thank you all for listening to the show. It really means a lot to us, and we really hope you come back next Tuesday and every other Tuesday after that. Thank you all.